Well, hi there. Welcome to this episode of Scotty Paints. Today we're starting a new painting, and the inspiration for this painting comes from a friend of mine. This is another railroad painting, and let me bring up what we have. My friend Kevin Schindler, who is a live steamer that runs model steam trains, same as I do, was up at the Sumpter Valley Railroad just a few weeks ago, and he took this beautiful sunrise picture. One thing about rail fans, when you're out chasing trains and riding trains, you're up early to get all the good action shots. And he got a great shot here of the sunrise coming up. And so this is going to be the painting that we're going to be working on. Now, what I've done for this painting and is, you can see that this is pretty much all backlit. This is silhouetted. We've got the sun coming in here. So what I've done is I've created a mask. I drew out this on contact paper, and I created a mask that masks off everything below where I'm taking the cursor right now. So everything below this, the locomotives and everything, is masked off. And I'm doing this on a Black Gesso canvas that I prepped last night. So if I bring up, so here you can see I've got the Black Gesso canvas, I've got the contact paper in place with the mask, so none of this is going to be painted. We're going to be working just on this area up here for today. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I take and cut them down from 2.5 hours to about an hour or 30 minutes because I don't paint fast. I paint somewhat what I think is a moderate pace, but we're going to be working up in this area first. Now, let me show you what we've got on the palette. And I'm using golden open acrylics. I want the open acrylics because they have a longer drying time. We're going to be blending up on the sky area, so I wanted to make certain I had plenty of time to blend. We have titanium white, alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, and cadmium yellow medium. And that's what we're going to use for the sky. Now you can see that right here I've already mixed up some alizarin crimson. I thinned it down this time with some thinner, a polymer thinner that Open makes. And the reason for this is that when I did my first attempt at a black canvas painting using Open color straight out of the tube, they were just way too thick and they didn't blend as well. So we're going to start right here with these, and what do you say we not waste any time? I've got my coffee, so here we go. Let's get started and we'll start painting. I'm going to start off with my Artist Loft 2-inch brush, and I've got the thinned out alizarin crimson. I'm going to put it down here. Notice that as I'm putting this on, I'm brushing away from the contact paper. I'm doing this because I don't want to, the contact paper sticks on here very lightly. It's not a hard stick. It comes off very easily. And if I brush down this way, I'm afraid I'm going to peel it off. So I'm just going to get this put up here. Now, when I did my other painting, which was what was it? Evening at Sunset. It was a Bob Ross painting, and I used this stuff straight out of the tube, and I didn't thin it down like I did this time. Up here in the corner, he had put some Van Dyke brown. I don't know if we're going to do that. I'm not going to cover the entire black area, release some black area for clouds, or actually this is a pretty clear sky and there's not a lot of clouds. The only thing we've got is coming out of the locomotive as they're steaming up. And we'll talk a little bit more about the locomotives when I go back and show you the photo that I'm working from. Although if you want to go ahead and take a break and go look up Sumpter Valley, then you'll know. See if you can figure out which two of the steam locomotives we're going to work with. I'm not going to go, I want this to be a bright yellow here. So I'm not going to go, we're going to let the orange start right about here. And I don't want to go up too high with the yellow when we blend, because we're going to have some blue in here that's going to mix in with this, and that's going to give us our nice lavender sky. So we've got that first coat on. Let's go ahead and start working with getting some other colors out. Well, I need my cadmium yellow. I've already, by the way, these colors here, yeah, that's left over from the last painting I did, and some of it is a week old. So there you go. You can get, and that wasn't even covered up with saran wrap. That was just straight out in the open, and a week later I'm able to scrape it up and use a lot of it. There was just a little bit of thin layer on top, but it's definitely slow drying, which is why today we're probably only going to get so far. Although since I have it masked off, and the reason I masked it off is because I want to start working down in the lower area on the locomotives and everything. I don't have to worry about those, you know, mixing too much into the colors where there's a possibility we might end up going into the open colors that are still wet. So let's go ahead, we'll grab the yellow here, and let me get back to the right camera. Otherwise you're going to be staring at my palette while I'm painting, and I've done that a couple of times. Sorry about that. So this is the brightest area. You can already see that it's blending and mixing in with the alizarin crimson there. We're getting that orange glow. The brush I'm using right now is a filbert, because it had a nice wide, I just grabbed it, and it had a nice wide bristles on it. I just did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do. Well, actually went too high there. Not what I was looking for. All right. So I'm going to take my blending brush, and let's get the brush strokes worked out of this and smooth this out. I will probably be coming back and putting some more yellow in this area, because you can see there the black gesso is showing through. So yeah, I'm getting a nice orange glow there. Let's go back to our reference photo here for a second. So you can see that we're actually quite bluish, purplish up there. Up in this area here. So when I get the blue in there, that's going to blend in with the alizarin and crimson very nicely. The yellow is way down here. Orange glow doesn't go up as high as I've got it, so we'll try to bring that down in more into a blues area. I'll be using the titanium white when I come in. And we do have clouds in the background. I have to correct myself here. So, all right, we'll get some clouds in there. We'll get some clouds. All right. So. And once again, I'll put out my regular disclaimer. I'm not being paid by Golden to advertise their product. So I just am using it to see how it works for me. I don't use it all the time. I use it where I want the extended drying time for blending, so I can get more of a wet on wet. Time to go in with the phthalo blue, and so I think what I'm going to do is I am going to take some of this phthalo. Now this is some old phthalo blue. That's a little bit thick, so I'm going to put just a little bit of thinner in here because this is about a week old. So I'm going to revitalize it just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and mix some titanium white in with it to lighten it up. Always good to clean the palette knife off right after you use it. And worse than trying to scrape off some leftover paint off a palette knife. So let's go in, and we're going to start down here. I guess I shouldn't fret about one or two brush hairs in the painting. You know, Vincent van Gogh, I may have mentioned this in the very first video I did. Vincent van Gogh, they were looking at one of his paintings close up. They found the exoskeleton of a grasshopper in his paintings upon closer inspection. I mean, this is, you know, you're talking about a couple 100-year-old grasshopper skeleton in a painting. So I guess I shouldn't worry too much about a couple of hairs in here. All right, well, let's take a look and see what we got. All right, so we've got the beginnings of some clouds up here, off in the distance, the glow here. I'm going to let this dry. There's a big bristle hair right there. Like I always say, if you're going to learn anything from me, you're going to learn from my mistakes. All right, so let's go back to our reference photo, and you can see that okay, we've got some edges of the clouds here that I want to get put in first, and we'll put some down over here. So, and then we're going to go in and we're going to start putting in the exhaust plumes coming out of the two locomotives. So this locomotive back here, this is a Heisler locomotive. You go look that up, you can see some nice pictures of it. It's a geared locomotive used for lumbering. This particular locomotive here is an ex-Yukon locomotive, and it's a Mikado. And so we have these two locomotives. You can see that the Mikado's got a string of gondolas back here behind it. And then you see all these people standing around. These are rail fans out early in the morning there to take a look at the locomotive. We're going to have some nice steam plumes coming down out of a steam exhaust here coming off of one of the probably off a pump or something, or they might be doing a quick little blowdown, not a full blowdown, but just, you know, clearing some lines or something. I don't know. But you got some steam exhaust coming out of some of the equipment here, so we'll have that going in as well eventually. All right, so let's look at this. Let this dry. Tell you what. In fact, I'm gonna work on drying right now. So we'll throw in some music, and while I go and take my handy dryer, which still haven't put the flames on the side here. I gotta work on that. Okay, one thing about these blending brushes that I go to wash them and then they really hold a lot of water. If you're to use these not as blending brushes but just regular, you know, throwing in your background or something like that, they'll hold a lot of paint, they'll hold a lot of water. I don't want to introduce water at this point up in here because it'll thin out the paints too much. So all right, now comes the fun part. We are going to go in and we are going to start working up here on the steam plumes. I'm going to work on this one first. Now you see that this one here is coming out of this stack back here, which on my painting, if we go back, you can see that back here I've got this yellow area that I have to work on. So I can't put this steam in here until I get this dry and then get the sunrise part of this finished the way I want it. And you can see that the black canvas is coming through. And who knows, maybe doing a black canvas for the sky wasn't the best idea. Maybe I should have gone half and half. Maybe what I should have done was put down the black gesso, put the mask down, and then done the upper part in white gesso. But I figured, well, I'll give this a try first and see how this works out. So we're going to let that dry. So we're going to work on the steam plume over here first. Okay, so with that part done, I'm going to take a quick break. So for you, that'll mean no time at all because it's going to be basically a quick cut. So I'm going to pause this recording for now, and we're going to come back to this, and then we'll do the big reveal and pull off the mask. Okay, so anyway, so quick break, and then we'll... Okay, we're back. I just finished washing my brushes and drying them out. I think I'm done with most of those that I used for the first part of this. However, I do want to take care of this spot back here. So what I think I'm going to do is I've just put down some more cadmium yellow, and I've got plenty of titanium white. And if I bring up the photo, you can see that, you know, this is very bright here. Back in this area over here. So, and then our plume comes up this way. So I need to fix this area here. So I'm gonna try using the filbert for this. It's a softer brush, and I'm gonna take some of the titanium white and I'm going to mix it with the cad yellow. So let's bring up our reference photo, and in fact, let's do this. I'm going to bring up a multi-view showing a side-by-side. So we've really got the I really got this glow going way up here compared, and you can see there's sort of a reddish pinkish, more reddish pinkish color in this area here. So what do you say we bring some of that in? I'm gonna bring up a dab of the alizarin crimson. All right. So I need to mix up for these clouds here. You can see that they're really got a lot of pink and purple in these man-made clouds from the steam locomotive that's come out here. Okay, so we're going to get some of that put in. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to go and mix up on the palette some of that color. You can see I have a little bit here. And I'm actually at a point where I need a little more alizarin crimson, so we're going to bring some more alizarin crimson. And most of what I used, so I used up all the alizarin crimson that I had left over from a week ago, so that's nice. Pardon me while I put some brushes out of the way. Here we go. All right. So we have, since we have the yellow in here and we're bringing in some pink, of course we're going to get, it's going to go just a little bit towards the orangish side as we go to blend it. So we're blend this just a little bit up here. All right. Are we ready for this? All right. Here we go. Once the mask comes off, it doesn't go back off. We are done. And this is just regular, everyday contact paper that you get at the hardware store. And I bought a roll of this stuff, and let me tell you, it's going to last me for quite a while. But there we go. There's the big reveal. Now we have the Black Gesso silhouette to work with. And you can see how this really, the glow now and the plumes and everything are really set off by the Black Gesso that we have down here that had our mask on it. And you can see that there's just a little bit of paint that did get up underneath the mask and came in here. I'm not going to worry about that. We'll be taking care of that much later. So that is where we are for today. I'm not going to worry about this area here. We're going to let that dry. And this is where we're going to hold it for right now. So I want all of this to dry. So I'm going to be using the hair dryer on it. And then we'll start working. On the next session, we'll come in, we'll start doing the details and get this all done up here. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Stay tuned. We'll have more. We'll have more coming your way, as we jump into finishing up this this piece of railroad art that I'm working on. So, thanks for joining in with me, and we'll see you next time. And wherever you are and whatever you're doing, hey, take care.